Me and Michael are finally in the same room. We don't live in the same part of Denmark, so it sometimes takes a while for us to get together, other than online.
True.
But right now he's visiting me, and we're going over because he's traveling to the Scottish Nationals in like tomorrow. So we're going over the meta of the Scottish Nationals today. Let me just. We have this mic here that hopefully can take us both well. Right. I am going to show you what we've been doing, and then we can go here. Right. So the meta of the Scottish Nationals. We're also going to go over the lists, but first let me just summarize everything that we're seeing. The event itself is 1,000 points, 1 to 2 generic platoons, or you can take a single tank platoon. What did you think about that when you saw that?
Well, I was very upset, frustrated, pissed because certain gentlemen, Scottish gentlemen, promised me theatre platoons. So I went out and spent a buttload of money on my theatre platoon, and poof, it was gone. But other than that, I do like tank platoons. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
So
We've got 16 players, which is not a lot, but a lot of them are really good competitive players. So it'll still be interesting. 5 games over 2 days in Bathgate. So that's the event. The order dice count. As per usual, we have between what was it? No, I've written something wrong. It's not between 10 and 23. It's between 12 and 18 order dice. The average being 14.7. So right in what I would call the Goldilocks zone. It's pretty much what so far the Danish meta also is, right?
personally, I think 12, 13 is not enough. But
Yeah.
14 to 17 is
And for this event, we're seeing 3 lists in the 12 to 13 range, which I guess would be fairly standard, and a lot of lists in the 14 to 15 range. 9 lists are there. I think there was 4 lists on 14 and 5 on 15, and then we had a few lists in the 16 to 17 range, and then 1 list on the 18 range. No true hordes for this event. Would you expect people to take hordes for this?
no,
No, right?
no, because there's 2 kill missions, so hordes are dangerous.
Yeah, hordes are really dangerous.
Yeah.
And at the same time, unless you're a really experienced horde player, I think tank platoons actually beat hordes most of the time.
Yeah.
Nation selectors, and this is the big one that we need to talk about because the event allows the combination of British Indians and the Free Artillery Observer. So there's a lot of British, and mostly they're British Indians. So we have 10 British armies, 2 Soviets, and then 1 Japanese, 1 Belgian, 1 US, and 1 Germany. So it's highly skewed towards Brits, which means that there's going to be a lot of British Civil War at this event.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Which for the diversity of the meta, I guess it's kind of it sucks a little bit. But if you allow tank platoons and if you allow that combination of the forward artillery observer and the free Indian squad, then I guess that's what you'll see.
Which shouldn't be allowed.
No, it shouldn't. It really
one,
shouldn't.
one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did surprise me though was we only saw 5 tank platoons out of the 16
Yeah.
list that I felt like the tank platoons are a little overpowered and possibly could win every game. But apparently a lot of people felt like dual generic platoons are the way to go.
Well, and I think in a mission setup like this, I do think tank platoon is the way to go because you have 2 kill missions and tank platoons just kill more. Generally, I think.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah. Some people are still bringing single generic reinforced platoons. I personally think that dual platooning is the way to go if you're going to go down the generic platoon route and not the tank platoon. But there are some armies where it doesn't really benefit them to have extra platoons. Japanese, for instance, Germans, maybe not.
With the Soviets I built last, they won't do any good for them either if
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
If it's only for dual sniper or something like that. Or
Yeah.
otherwise, you can do it without.
Yeah. And the builds that I'm seeing a lot, of course, of Darker Steward lists. There's like 5 complete Darker Steward lists. There are only 3 skirmish lists, and barbecuing seems to be back. I see 4 barbecue lists, which I thought barbecuing had gone from the meta more or less completely, but not so for Scotland.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a hard time when I look right underneath where you say
Yeah.
veteran heavy power gurkers who don't give a rat's ass about the barbecue.
There's a lot of veteran heavy lists, and a lot of them are stubborn,
Yeah,
or fanatics.
So that's gonna be tough
Yeah.
for the barbecue lists.
It really is. And there are 3 Death Star lists, and I include in this one little unusual, maybe not a Death Star as such, but one list has a Lee in it. And Death Stars for me are a list that have like 1 heavy or medium tank. There are 3 Zero tank lists where we're seeing Bren carriers basically, mostly. A couple of lists, 5 that have leaf blower elements, and 1 list that is a recce list.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a list for those who don't know this, where most or all of your units have recce as a possibility.
I'm a pacifist, so I like to be able to run away.
No. Right. The main takeaways for me is that British Indian Stuarts and Paragurkas, it's a thing. It's really a thing. And you can't get around it. You're going to have to, if you're going to win Scottish Nationals, and if you're going to win in a meta where you're allowed tank platoons and you're allowed that combination of artillery reserve and Indians, then that is the army to beat. You're going to have to beat it.
I've told you before, and I'll say it again. I do not think that free units that they get from doing both is worth up and atom. And I expect everybody who's not bringing it to pin the out of those Gurkhas, so they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I don't think the free squad is worth it.
We
But we shall see.
We will see during this weekend, because this is going to be the ultimate test.
Yeah.
If we have 5 Paragurka lists in the top 5 placements, then possibly Indian Paragurkas, I should say, because there are a few lists that doesn't take the Indian. Brengineers is also still around. I thought they were a thing of the past, except for Soviets. But
Brengineers.
yeah,
It's a great combo.
it's a great combo. It really is. And what I'm looking for, what I'm really searching for here is, where's the anti-Steward meta? What is going to break the meta of the Stewards? There are a few attempts here, like the Lee is one, because it has 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Crusader AA, which might also be devastating to some Stewards, and of course there's a recce. So people are attempting to see if they can break the Stewards somewhere. Multi-rocket launchers, though, are basically out.
I like that.
Basically out. Only one list has 2. So, and this is something that's a little bit weird, because going back to the Dutch Nationals, we saw a lot of multi-launchers.
Oh, yeah.
Most armies had at least one.
Yeah.
But here they're gone. So there may be a difference here in the meta in the UK and the meta in mainland Europe. So, any surprises here for you?
I'm surprised that there's no more MRLs. I'm kind of sad, and I hope that when Scottish Nationals is over, that we will see the British Indian
meta go away.
Yeah, because if we end up seeing 5 British Indian on top over there, the TOs are gonna have to say only 1 is allowed, because that extra point, if that does that, they are gonna be on top. The future is gonna be that if you have 16 players at a tournament, they're all gonna bring the same, and we might as well just roll a die and see who wins.
No, that'll be the ultimate equalizer, because then it will only be the skill of the players. I'm very good at that.
And the roll of the dice, which he's also very good at.
And that happens as well.
Yeah.
Right. So my predictions for the top 5, and I'm sorry, Michael, you're not in it.
No, it's
but,
okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
I think that we're going to see a lot of British in the top 5. For me, the strongest list is Gary's 14 autodized British stewards with barbecue. And by the way, we're going to go through the lists in a minute, so you're going to see all these lists in detail. That's a 4.5 for me. Richard C, always a good player. He brings a 15 autodized British and stewards and Gurkha list. That's a 4. I think the main drawback for most of these lists is that they're pin vulnerable, by the way. So they never really make it up to a 5 for me. Graham, of course, again, he did rather well at the Megatron event. And he's bringing a 15 autodized British Indian stewards again list. That's a 4. Alistair is bringing a 14 autodized list with Indian stewards and the AA Crusader, which has been a first mover on that. So much a first mover that I actually bought one myself at the Dutch Nationals. Then we have Chris with his 15 autodized Soviets. He's bringing stewards and engineers, and that combo, we know that combo, it's really good. It works. So that's a 4 for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Cap.
Yep. That's. I'm sorry, I just don't believe in his army.
That's fine.
At all. But to watch, things that you should look out for. Michael C, can he make Reki the Steward antidote? That could be a thing. Can Benny is bringing his Japanese, can he make them competitive again? I am not sure, especially because there's a lot of Gurkhas that he's going to need to chew through, and I play Gurkhas quite a lot, and I love facing Japanese armies. It's the best ever. And then Johnny Curran, who is trying to prove that USA, the barbecue USA, still is a thing. We know back in Cork, where Dan Lane, he won the World Championships, basically became the best individual player in Cork. And he did so with American barbecue. So Johnny Curran is trying to see if that can be a thing.
Yeah.
So all of these are things to watch out for, I think, because otherwise you're going to get bored just watching Gurkhas chop and stewards chop through enemy infantry. Right. So that's it. Let's go and see the actual lists. And I'm going to have to take us a little bit out of here. Right. I am going to start us over here, which is the list for Gary Morgan. And I'm sorry about this. I'm doing everything wrong right now. Okay. So, let's see if we can enhance that. Right. So, Gary Morgan, this is his British Commonwealth Tank Platoon, Indian Army trait, of course. He brings Stuart command trait, extra LMGs, so the darker version. 1, 2, 3, 4 Stuarts. That's a lot of darker.
It is.
And a British Airborne Jeep, which again, we love those, don't we? I love mine. I've basically used them up. They're so worn down by now. I need to repaint them. Artillery Observer with an extra man. Then the Manpower of the Empire. That's the 10 Indian Free Squad. And then Engineers. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. 3 Engineers squads with rifles and flamethrower. Very cheap for 70 points. Sniper team, regular. And then trucks to bring the engineers to where they need to go. What do we think?
Four stewards is a lot. I don't think his engineers will have an easy time getting into the fray. And
it depends. It really depends on whether he can pin down the enemy first, right?
True. But if I should choose between again Gurkhas and engineers, I would pick the Gurkhas, because if he gets forward against Gurkhas, his flamethrowers ain't really gonna matter.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna matter because they don't have Up and Adam, which is why I don't think the free squad is worth it. It is in this group.
Yeah.
Because he'd be pinned anyways.
Yeah.
But if he runs into 4 stewards, the stewards are going to try to stand in cover and shoot his trucks, and when they're gone, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean it looks.
He might want to outflank at least one of these trucks because it doesn't have an MMG and it's regular still.
Yeah.
So
it looks like a squad that will hurt when you fade it with all those shots. I mean, you take 72 shots from stewards, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, and then the engineers come up behind them
Exactly.
to flame you off the board.
So
When you're pinned down with at least 2 pins in advance, that can be really deadly. So this is why I rate this as highly as I do. Right. The next one that we're going to watch is going to be Benny's. Let me see if I can enhance this here. Right. So Benny is bringing his Japanese, and very unusually, Benny is usually a Horde player. He brings 12 order dice Japanese, 1,000 points. So he is in the low end of the spectrum here.
I've never seen Benny bring a list, but are you sure it shouldn't say 22?
Nope, it doesn't.
Wow.
It's 12. I've never seen him go this low.
No, that's
never.
crazy.
That is crazy. He brings a second lieutenant with an extra man, SMGs, and then he brings 2 units of veterans, 11-man veterans, with bicycles. Benny has been on a bicycle addiction here.
What does the bicycles do? He can go faster?
He can go faster.
But
he can
no
make
recce, no nothing?
a pretty long run, especially on roads.
Okay. Does he go just like wheels or what?
I can't remember. I think he makes an 18-inch or 24-inch move, and then he can get off the bicycles and start fighting.
Oh, okay.
So it brings him up into the center board very quickly.
But he doesn't want that against all these Gurkhas.
Against the Gurkhas, it might be a bad idea.
Yeah,
but then he has 11 veterans.
Yeah,
That's a lot of veterans.
But he only gets 6 hits.
He only gets 6.
And if the
He's not going to charge. He's going to shoot you.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah. That's 22 dice on the shots. That's
and 11 veterans. The Gurkhas are not going to charge him.
No.
I would not recommend that anyways. And then 2 full-strength squads of bamboo fighters. Again, no one hate these. They are deadly as fuck. And 5 engineered veterans with a flamethrower, a light mortar Inex team, and 3 Inex suiciders.
See, they're gonna be good.
They're gonna be.
The suicide teams are awesome in this because the stewards are not gonna want to get too close to them.
No, they're going to stay away. But remember, Benny, to try keep them alive because they're just inexperienced dudes.
Yeah.
Inexperienced spigot mortar, which again is a lovely.
Mortar.
Oh yeah, if he could hit some of those stewards, they're dead just from pins.
Yeah.
A regular tankette with a hull-mounted HMG and a turret-mounted MMG, and a tank, which is the Wego, has a turret-mounted light howitzer, a rear MMG, and a hull MMG. A mule and a Hokie carrier for the engineers.
I mean, I like the list. I don't like its 12 dice.
No,
I think he is gonna get
very low.
I think he's gonna get bitch slapped by people getting too many die before he even gets to do anything.
Yeah.
12 is low.
12, I think, is going to hinder him. I think the veterans are going to be key. If he can get those to work on the enemy, he might be able to pull something here. But
if he can use his suicide teams to keep the stewards away and then get his veterans into the fray, his bamboo fighters.
Yeah. But the bamboo fighters are needed basically to not fight Gurkhas because they lose to Gurkhas.
And they never go against Gurkhas.
Yeah. So that was Benny's list. Then we have this one. I can't remember who this is for. I'm sorry. This is the German list. I'm really sorry about that. That's another 12 orderized list. And this is bringing the Fallschirmjägers. So we have a second lieutenant regular. We have a Fallschirmjäger unit with light machine gun stubborn. Then Brandenburgers, assault rifles and Panzerfaust. A 250/9. We love that one.
The Brandenburgers, they're the ones who you get extra minus or something.
Yeah. You get minus to come in from reserves and outflanks. Then a drilling. I love that one. A light autocannon 7+ open top. Yes, it's open top, but that is 6 autocannon shots. Yeah. That's going to rip you apart.
Ooh, nobody wants to face that.
Second platoon is another lieutenant. Another Fallschirmjäger, again with a light machine gun. I'm sorry, I don't understand the light machine guns, not even on veterans.
No, I don't either. But I mean, well, you know what? I normally don't understand it, but in the meta we see here, it's gonna be great
Yeah, because it delivers pins.
because it can shoot 36. All it needs to do is to give a pin.
Yeah.
And if the Gurkhas come forward, it goes back 6.
Yep.
They can go 12. It goes
Yep.
back 6.
Yep.
You know, it can actually wait all until turn 4, maybe even 5 before they get to him.
True.
Yeah.
Another Fallschirmjäger, an Osttruppen, 2 of those. They're basically cheap order dice, right? They're not going to do much. They can sit in the back lines and go on ambush, but
I don't understand why you want the Shirkers. I will never
no,
understand
they're
it.
really vulnerable to pins.
I mean, that's the ones you're going for when you
Yeah.
play the kill mission. You take out those 2 and you're ahead.
A 2/2/2, which the only thing that sucks about this one is that it's open topped, but it does have the light autocannon, which is good,
And it's Ricky.
and it's got a Flampanzer as well. So, yeah.
Oh, that's the one that can shoot 1 flamer, right?
Yeah, it can shoot 1 flamer,
Uh-huh.
but has 2, so it has 1 on each
But
arc.
if one runs out, they all run out.
I can't remember.
I think so.
Multiple flamethrowers. Let's just check. Flamethrower.
Yeah, I don't think it
No, it doesn't say
they
here.
don't have a different fuel.
Oh, yeah. You may only use 1 per turn.
Yeah, but
So
they
I
don't
can't
have,
remember if they have separate fuel.
I don't think they do.
No, maybe not. For me, this is a softer list, a more thematic list where points have been spent on gear that maybe is not massively useful. I don't. Yeah. And everything is very vulnerable to like it's open top most of it.
It is. It's not gonna like facing 3 or 4 stewards who can shoot at 3 targets because he's
Exactly.
just gonna start pinning everything.
That is true.
But if he can get that autocannon to fire at the stewards, that's gonna stop him in their
Yeah.
tracks.
Right. Next
How many
one.
auto dot? 14. Yeah, that's a decent amount.
Yeah. So next one that we're going to look at is from Alistair Unicorn, and that is his 14 order dice list. British tank platoon. He brings stewards, of course, and he brings 1. Let's see. Stop doing that. 2, 3, and the Crusader AA. I love the Crusader AA. Look at that. 135 points, and it's got 2 paired light autocannons.
4 shots, nice.
It's an A+, it's close topped, it hasn't got the vulnerable of the stewards, so it is different than the steward. It doesn't have all that darker, it doesn't have the split fire, but it really is threatening to veterans and to light vehicles.
Oh, it'll clear out a veteran squad with 4 shots
Yeah,
if it gets close enough.
yeah, it will.
No doubt about it.
Then he brings Royal Canadians with a flamethrower. He often does this, like at least one. A home guard section because they are very, very cheap for what they can bring.
Mm-hmm.
They have a BAR, so they have range as well. The Indian Free Squad, Free Artillery Observer, medium mortar with a spotter. We're seeing this quite a lot from the Scots.
I mean, I save the points and make it inexperienced.
Me as well. But a sniper team, a Bren carrier, and the QLT long chassis. That is the list. That is a lot of armor in that list.
It's a lot of armor. It's a lot of shots.
That's a lot of shots. Oh, sorry.
How many men did he have?
He's got the engineers. That's a 5-man unit. Then he has
Oh,
a
he's not-
7-man home guard
Yeah.
and 10-man Indians. That's it.
He's one without Gurkhas.
He is completely without
he,
Gurkhas.
he is not gonna be liking objective missions, I don't think.
Objective missions can be a problem, but I think
Yeah.
he's going to try and distract you with all his stewards.
He's gonna focus on one objective and contest the others with armored cars or
Yeah.
armored vehicles, of course.
Yeah, he is.
That's his. That is the only plan he can have.
Yeah.
But if you get the few men he has killed, the game is over for him. He can't win it.
True. Then we have Graham Thompson, who also brings British Indians, and oh, sorry, that's a lot of zooming here. Here we go. He's bringing a 15 order dice, 999 points. he brings a command armored truck, which I have no idea why you would. I'm sorry, Graham. I just don't. That makes no sense to me. It's a 10-man transport. It has the command vehicle special rule, but 100 points.
Well, actually, it's only 75. Because if you put something else up there, you have
you
to pay 25.
Yeah.
So and you have to bring.
But 75 points for a regular transport? No.
10 points. I mean, 75, and you get 10 out of your transports taken care of. I mean, it's kind of expensive, but still 75 points. What is a regular truck cost?
A regular truck, 60.
And it has armor 7. I mean, it's not open topped.
That is true. That is true.
Which is very hard to get in a transport. I mean, you can put something forward that actually protects it unless you shoot armor piercing at it.
That is actually true.
So I don't think it's not that I want to side with you, Graham, but I unlike Bo, I can see the idea of that.
I think it's too expensive for a transport. Anyway, Stuart, and these, of course, there's the armored platoon commander, so they get +1 because he's got 3. Then we have the PPA flamethrower jeep. That's always nice, but it is more expensive than actually buying a jeep and a flamethrower team, where you get 2 order dice. So for me, I would rather do that.
Yeah, the difference is, which I like about this, it actually has recce.
Yeah, that's true.
So with the kind of firepower we see here,
yeah,
I mean, you can wait, get shot at, recce it, hide it, and then go in the next round and shoot. Where with the combo, you need 2 dice in a row.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Then Graham brings Paragurkas, and this is again one of the things where I really don't. I know Graham does this quite a lot, and successfully, I might add. So who am I to criticize? But I don't agree with the way he builds his Paragurkas. He builds them 5 men with submachine guns. For me, that is too low to be effective in close combat.
It is. I agree.
So I think he's mainly bringing them to scare people away from close combat, and because they're stubborn, you can't really flamethrower them either. But I feel like that's a lot of points to waste on just guys who are just going to damage people with submachine guns.
And you have tough fighter anyways. Why wouldn't you want the extra range?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
No. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Then the Indian squad, of course. The free artillery observer, of course. Again, medium mortar regular with a spotter. And we get the light howitzer, there's a 25 pounder as well with a spotter. A horse-drawn limber, because why not? And then a couple of trucks.
How many order dice was that in all?
That was 14 order dice. 14. Or was it 15? Sorry. Let me just check.
I hope it's 15.
It is 15. Yeah.
Because he has a mule team that's just a dice, so that's 14. I mean, I like my units to be able to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I like some of the list. I actually like the armored car. I just don't know. No, I like it. I don't understand in this list. I don't know where it's going to be useful. I know you have to have your transport when you do a tank platoon. And I know you can put 2 Gurkha paratroops in it because it carries 10. But do you really want to get these paratroopers too far forward with 5 men? I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't even want to. If he runs into.
But you know what you can do? You can put 2 of these units into your command vehicle. They're now in an armored vehicle, the Gurkhas. They're going to be very difficult to kill.
Yeah, well, I would say normally yes, but in this with all the armored we have and all the shots, you know, I mean, you have, we've seen already now quite a few autocannons. I mean, they would make shish kebab out of that transport. You do not want to have 2 small Gurkha teams in there when... They're
going to get pinned, and when they're pinned, they're not going to charge, and they're not going to shoot.
And they're going to get 1d6 hits. That's going to kill 1, 2 maybe. If
then you're a 3-man team.
Now all of a sudden you're between 3 and 4, and people don't really fear charging you all of a sudden if they're veterans because you're not dangerous anymore.
That's true.
I think they're too small, and I don't understand armored car. If he'd had a huge squad of Gurkhas he could put in there to bring forward, I would have understood
an 8 or a 10-man.
Yeah.
Or just imagine, you know, an 8-man unit of Gurkhas and a flamethrower team.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah. So I understand the vehicle. I'm looking forward to seeing how you're going to do this against the others. Graham. Good luck.
Then we have a Belgian platoon. Again, I'm sorry, I can't remember who this is from. It's 15 order dice, 997 points. For me, that's really a pity. 3 points not being able to find one guy with an SMG, right?
I have the same problem.
Yeah. A second lieutenant, veteran. A lot of points sunk into that one guy. Then chasseurs, 1, 2 of those, 7-man units, pretty good skirmishers, but they're veterans. Look at that, they're very expensive, almost 100 points for just 7 veterans. An anti-tank rifle, regular. 2 howitzers, of course, with spotters. That's what you do with French and Belgium, because you get the free medium artillery piece, the medium howitzer as well, right? So bring a lot of that. If you can.
I probably wouldn't have bought a spotter for him, because I would want him to. I would never shoot indirect with him.
You wouldn't?
No. They would be standing somewhere, preferably hidden, covering lines on ambush to keep his armored vehicles at bay.
Yeah. I think you're right. Most of the time, that's what they'll be mostly useful for.
And that
I mean, a medium howitzer hit on a Stuart, that will definitely hurt.
Yeah,
no.
You don't even want it on your Gurkhas.
Definitely not.
That's why I would never ever shoot him, because I would never allow the lines to be open.
Yeah. Then an FT-18, which I actually kind of like. It has a light anti-tank gun at 3+, so it's a one-shot heavy autocannon. The Berry-Lays, I also like these. These are close-topped armored vehicles with an LMG that has transport capability. They really need to transport something interesting, though, so I would rather see engineers for those than the chasseurs.
Yeah.
Second platoon, we have another lieutenant, this one inexperienced. Then we have 2 infantry sections, again with BARs. These are, for me, they're better than the chasseurs, the veteran chasseurs, because they're just a little cheaper. And they're 8-man skirmish units.
The other one was 7-man, right?
Yeah.
This is 8. The other one was 14 points more.
Yeah. That's a veteran.
Yeah, I would pay 14 more for veterans. Normally, I mean, in this setup, it doesn't matter.
Then another anti-tank rifle, another medium howitzer. That's the 3rd medium howitzer. So this is a leaf blower list, and another FT-18. I
mean, this list. Is very anti-Stuart, British Stuart.
Yeah, it is.
And if he plays it right, he can hurt him.
Yeah,
he can really, really be bad to him. He can shoot at a distance and
3 howitzers and double anti-tank rifle, which can also pin the Stuart.
Yeah, and if he is, I mean, I would use it to have 1 or 2 of those howitzers on ambush, and then I would shoot at something they could see.
Yeah.
On a Stuart, and when it moves, I can trigger an ambush on it.
Yeah.
And if not, I will slowly get it.
The only thing that I'm sort of missing here is like 1 or 2 medium mortars.
Yeah, that would be even better.
Inexperienced medium mortars somewhere in the list.
I would take those anti-tank rifles out and put medium mortars in, or medium mortars in.
Yeah.
To stand by the howitzers, so they could be an ambush, and then use that to shoot.
And I think you could have actually found the point just by cutting down on this first of the lieutenants.
Yeah.
Because that's a second lieutenant veteran.
Yeah,
that's 65 points. You could pay just 35 points for an Nix one.
Yeah, I don't see the reason for that.
No.
I mean, even if he is a veteran, with all the shots that's in these lists,
he's
one man ain't gonna survive
dead.
anyways. So that's a waste of points.
Then we have Chris Davis. Chris Davis brings his tank platoon Soviets. 15 order dice, 999 points. A Stuart light tank, again, darker version, but not with... Yeah, he has got recce, sorry. Command vehicle...
He would have been fired as a Russian commander without recce on his Stuarts.
And 2 and 3. That's 3 recce Stuarts in the list.
I like it.
Then the free rifle squad. A commissar to go with that, with an extra man. Inex medium mortar, that's what we like to see.
I like it.
1 dog mine, inexperienced, 2 dogs, and 2 tank hunter teams.
I like it.
Yeah, you're a fan of those.
Oh, I am.
Yeah. Truck, Bren carrier.
Yeah.
and second platoon. I think this second platoon is just because he couldn't take them in the tank platoon, so he had to go and get a Soviet reinforced one.
Yeah.
But that's just Easy Army, and
Mhm.
and that is mounted recon patrol squads here. 5 men, submachine guns, flamethrower, the
Mhm.
works to go in the brain carriers. Of course.
Basically a regular engineer.
Yeah.
I like it just because I am in both action a Russian by heart.
Mm.
But I mean the problem with for me the Russians, which is why I didn't bring them, in this one where like the tank hunters, great weapon because they can forward deploy.
Mm.
But in most missions over there, you can't forward. I think it was 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. You can't forward deploy, which kind of takes the whole point out of it.
That sucks a little bit, doesn't it?
And I would never take him regular because they need to be in the fray. So and he only has 2 guys.
Mm.
When I bring him, I bring 4 veterans because 2 guys, yeah, they're a small team, but they will die too fast. You can't really charge anything. And they get double hits when they charge a vehicle, but it's not worth it with 2 guys.
Mm.
But if you have 4, you roll 8 die, then it hurts.
Then it hurts.
So I'm kind of missing they're a bit tougher.
Right. So that was Chris. Then we have one here. I can't remember who this is for. I'm sorry. It's a 13 order dice list. 1,000 points. He spent all the points. Second lieutenant with 2 extra men, inexperienced. Depending on whether or not there is a lot of preparatory bombardment, this might actually be worth it if there is.
I don't remember if there's 1 or 2.
Okay. And then Gurkha paratroopers with 4 submachine guns in the unit. That's a 7-man unit for the first one. The second one is also a 7-man unit, but with more submachine guns in it. Then a free forward artillery observer, medium mortar with a spotter, and a Lee. Oh, this is for Russell, isn't it? Because he brings the Lee. Look at that Lee. I love the Lee. I'm getting one of those as soon as Rubicon makes a model. 220 points. It's got a medium anti-tank gun, hull mounted, a cupola fired MMG, so it's not open top when you fire it, and then a turret mounted light anti-tank gun with a coaxial MMG. So that's 2 shots anti-tank guns. You can shoot them 2 ways. I love that. The second platoon, again, a lieutenant with 2 extra men. Gurkha Paras, again, submachine guns on those. Inexperienced infantry to sit in the back line. Indians, 4 squad. Medium mortar with a spotter. PPA flamethrower jeep, and a Stuart darker version. So, Russell is on the way to becoming the next British champion for bold action. He knows what he's doing. What do we think about his list here?
He is obviously seeing something the rest of us are not. I love the Lee. The Lee is awesome. It's a horrible weapon to face. But when I look at that list, I just don't see it as a list that can threaten the 3 and 4 Stuart lists. Even with the
I think
Lee.
that is going to be the main worry. He has one thing that's really good anti-Stuart, but he's going to face 3 to 4 Stuarts in most lists.
I mean, he can shoot at 2 of them, and then there's still 1 or 2 left. I mean, he, as I said, he does see stuff the rest of us don't see, because whenever I see his lists, I'm always scratching my head and going, okay.
Yeah.
So he,
for me, the worry here is that his Paragurkhas, which of course are awesome, and they have a lot of shots coming out of them, but he hasn't got anything to keep them moving and keep them engaged. There's no vengeance. There's no up and at 'em.
No.
So they're vulnerable to pins.
You can pin everything out.
Yeah. Which is going to be a real problem, I think, for Russell's army here. Nice list, but for me, this never turns into a 4+.
And I will never understand the 3-man lieutenants. Yeah, I understand you can put it in.
I understand it, completely understand it. With this many British list, are you kidding me?
No. Yeah, but still, I will take the roll because
you would.
Yeah, and I would because you get a reroll. Oh, you get the plus for the lieutenant.
Yeah.
I'm used to playing Russian, so I get it.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I mean, if I can see the lieutenant, I will shoot at it, because if I hit it, it dies, even with 3 men.
Yeah.
It's only 3s to kill it. But the whole when the difference between 2 and 3 men is when you move in and you shoot on a long distance.
Yeah.
If it's small team, it will always be 7s.
Yeah.
Or else it's 6s because it's going to be movement at long range unless you're in good cover. I mean, it's
There is a whole debate going on
It
about
is,
whether or not this is worth it. I think we're on opposite sides of that debate.
well, I mean, it's as I said, if you have a lot of bombardment, of course it's worth it because you can pick out a guy and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I have other stuff I can put in, but yeah, I mean, I understand. When I play my Russians, you don't get to bombard me, so.
Right. Then we have another British list, 14 organized, 1,000 points. This is British Commandos, so these are actually South African Commandos. So they're not bringing Indian special rules.
Oh, wow.
Interesting, right?
Nice.
Second Lieutenant, regular.
I'm
I don't
rooting for
understand
you.
that one. But commando sections with LMGs here. These are 7-men units. They have tough fighters behind enemy lines, so they're good outflankers as well.
So how does that work against the German where you get -1?
Both of them work at the same time, so you get -1 but +1.
Yeah, no, but they just don't get minuses. It says if you read behind lines, it says you don't get minuses for. It doesn't say get +1. It says you don't get minuses for outflanking.
Yeah.
So does it not work?
Then they have a -1 because of the.
Yeah, but it says they never get minuses for outflanking. That's
But
why
they
I'm
do.
asking.
Because they don't
Which
cancel
one
out
counts?
the not Bren, the Brandbergers.
Okay.
Free forward artillery observer, extra man, commandos, more of those. Now we're down to 5-man submachine gun commandos. So small units that can jump out of something and then absolutely spray it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they have the South African Bloody Mindedness, which I think is a version of Stubborn or something like that. And quick reaction, which means that you can always do defensive fire.
Ooh, even if you've done something.
Even if you're being attacked from within 6 inches.
Oh, but what if you already used your dice?
Well, then you can't.
Okay, so not always.
Well, okay, yeah. I don't understand the medium mortar here because this is a regular medium mortar, but it hasn't got a spotter.
You might as well make it inexperienced.
Yeah, that could save a few points.
Yeah.
A commando sniper, so again, tough fighter behind enemy lines, all the jazz. Commando peer team, again, tough fighter behind enemy lines, veteran. Light howitzer, veteran. Doesn't need to be veteran for me. Without the spotter. Jeep, regular, pintle mounted MMG.
That's just so it lasts longer. You make it veteran if you have the points for it.
A truck with an MMG and a Darker Steward.
Yeah.
That is it. What do you think?
I think it's gonna have a really, really hard time against all these tank platoons. I just don't see. I don't see enough anti-tank in it to go up against.
I think that would be my main worry as well.
Yeah,
it lacks a lot of anti-tank.
I mean, the stewards will have absolute. They won't care about running forward when you drive yours up and on objectives and stuff, because basically you have a light howitzer, a Pia team, a steward, and a mortar team.
Yeah.
And I don't really see much else that can do anything to tanks.
No. So this list is going to struggle, I think.
I think it because of the whole tank platoons. I think this list, if we had played regular generic platoons, I would have liked this list.
Yeah.
But because he's facing so many
tanks, he's going to struggle.
He's going to struggle. There's not enough anti-tank in it.
Yeah. Then we have the American platoon that we talked about earlier, that Johnny Curran is bringing. This is 16 order dice, 1,000 points. He brings a second lieutenant in experience with an extra man. Then engineers, regular engineers with the flamethrower, so very cheap. 1, 2, 3. 2 ranger squads with submachine guns. Because basically I think he's calculating that pretty quickly he'll be up into the middle of the board because of Rangers lead the way. So he'll need the submachine guns more than the actual army rule of the Americans, I think. A heavy mortar, inexperienced US Assault Marine Squad, which has flamethrower again. Anti-tank grenades, pistols, so these are tough guys.
Here's the multi-launchers.
Then a rocket multi-launcher, an artillery tractor with an HMG on top, the Recce Jeep with an MMG, a Stuart light tank, and some Dodge trucks. 1, 2, 3, 4 with pintle mounted MMGs, all of them This is how you build a good all-round American barbecue list.
I mean, what I like about this list, and I actually think it can do well if he can get there.
Mm.
Because if he can use his multi-launchers to soften or get him to spread out, so he can charge or get his flamers up against some of the tank platoon's armored cars, and then pin out the Gurkhas and whatnot, he will do well.
Yeah.
If he can play
If
it,
you can get that.
if he can do it strategically right,
Yeah.
this could hurt.
Yeah.
I think he will have a hard time against the Russian steward list
Oh yeah.
because it has Recce.
Mm.
So his flamers are going to have a hard time doing anything.
Yeah.
And he will need a squad like that within 6 inches to charge it and lock it down and then flame it.
If he can roll sixes, my thought is, if he can roll sixes, that multi-launcher might actually be what saves him here, because the enemy can't actually move up to him, because then he's got the Dodgers sitting behind cover, ready to go. But the enemy can't stay where they are, because they'll get multi-launched.
Yeah, they have to move.
They have to move.
Yeah.
So I think that is the key.
What kind of oh, they're okay, fixed.
Yeah. So right. We're in the final 3 lists that I have for you guys, and this one is another British reinforced platoon. This is the 18 Ordnance 1. Can't remember who it's from, sorry about that. Maybe it's from Richard, I'm not sure. Second Lieutenant, inexperienced. Gurkha Paris, 8 man. Royal Engineers, 5 men, veteran with a flamethrower. Forward observer, Indians. Pier team, regular. Land mattress, inexperienced. Horse-drawn limber, inexperienced. PPA Jeep with a flamethrower. Darker Steward, 2nd platoon, basically the same. We have another lieutenant. We have, again, Gurkha Paris. This only a 5-man unit, didn't have the points. And then another engineer section here. Again, a mortar, this one medium. Pier team, land mattress, horse-drawn limber, and a Darker Steward. This has a lot of different tools.
It does, and the fact that he has 2 multi-launchers, he has 2 stewards. He can do some damage with that list, and he gets the first dice.
Yep.
Often, which means you have to think about how you place everything, because there's a huge chance he will start, and then he's going to start by multi-launching you, and then.
And he also has the Gurkhas to charge with. The only thing that I don't know why you would is that 5-man Gurkha unit. 5-man Gurkhas, because they're going to be on foot.
Yeah.
So they're not sitting in a Bren, they're not sitting in a truck,
No,
they're not getting up there, and they're just 5 veterans.
I would probably use them to protect my land mattresses, so you can't get to them, or try to. I mean, I would use them for defense.
Yep. That could make sense.
And I mean, the biggest problem is, of course, going to be with that bombardment and artillery observers. The land mattresses are inexperienced, so they're going to get screwed when they're going to get hit.
Oh yeah. And also notice that the engineers, he doesn't have any transport for them.
No, that's going to be his biggest problem.
That is going to be a problem.
He won't be able to get forward. Yeah.
That is really going to be a problem, bringing them up to where they're dangerous.
Yeah.
Then we have a 16 Ordnance platoon from Terry, and this is again Soviets. He brings a junior lieutenant, inexperienced, assault engineers, not with the body armor, but with Panzerfaust and flamethrower, veteran, submachine guns on almost everyone. I would at least have left one guy with a rifle.
No, I don't either.
You don't?
No, because if I don't want to use my flamer,
the submachine gun is better?
Yeah, I shoot the 2 shots from the...
Okay.
I mean, depends on what I'm up against. I mean, because I don't want the flamer to run out if I need it against an armored car or something.
True.
Or a tank, so I don't always use it.
Double Faust on them, so that's really a good hunt unit. And then we have the Commissar, inexperienced, of course, cheap Ordnance, free squad, flamethrower team, regular, BA-20,
nice
regular...
list.
T-34 medium tank Death Star.
No, it should have been the OT-34 with the flamer. Now that's crap.
No, it's not.
The tank is crap.
In this meta, It's going to kill Stuarts. It really is. Medium anti-tank gun.
Yeah, but you know what? There's one of them and there's 4 Stuarts. He doesn't
true.
want to get the hits from the Stuarts
True.
either. And all you gotta do is shoot at it. It'll get a pin. You shoot at it again, it'll get a pin.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's not gonna kill anything.
Yeah, true. Double Engineers, of course. So the
course.
Bren carriers and a gas jeep, and the second platoon is another junior lieutenant, 2 Strafbat units with shirkers and unarmed guys. I hope for him that they rule that the unarmed guys can fight, but it doesn't say in the rulebook that they can. It says actually in the Soviet entry that they can't.
Well, then they can't because
another commissar, another BA-20. So that's a lot of flamethrowers in this list.
Yeah.
This is a true barbecue list.
This is a barbecue list, and I don't think it will. Sorry, I don't think it will do well again against all these Stuarts.
It lacks something for me. It lacks something to reach out. Yeah, you have the T-34, right? The medium anti-tank gun, but that's 6 shots during the game.
His absolute biggest threat is the BA-20s.
Yeah.
And if you use those correctly by getting them hidden and wait for the last eye, get up flame so he can run away again when they shoot at him.
And don't run out.
Don't run
out.
Because the Bren carriers are not going to get very far. No. If it was me, I would shoot on both Bren carriers with 2 or 3 Stuarts, have everything on 3
pin them, and then they're...
And then he has 400 points sitting there looking out the window going rally.
And most Stuart lists can do that, especially if you give them that opportunity, right? Right. Final list of the Scottish Nationals will be from Grant, and it's another British list. This one, a British reinforced platoon, 15 order dice.
It's not the final one, though. You're missing one.
Oh, yours.
Yeah. But that's okay. We like that to be a secret.
No. We'll find it for you in a sec. Right. So, we have a second lieutenant, inexperienced, commando section with submachine guns and rifles, Royal Engineers with flamethrower and a few submachine guns in the mix as well, the Free Artillery Observer, the Indians, of course, medium mortar inexperienced, sniper team, regular, light artillery with a spotter, regular, Bren carrier, and a Sherman IVB with a medium howitzer.
Ooh, no, that's evil. That is evil.
That is evil. And another Death Star. Then a second lieutenant again, guards with guard discipline, 7-man units. These are skirmishers. They are a little bit better, the guard discipline. I think you get a reroll or something on morale or all the tests. And another light howitzer. So it has elements of, it has like 3 howitzers, right? That's a leaf blower list. And then a Crusader AA to protect your guns.
Just evil.
That is a good list.
4 shots. That's just evil.
That is a good list. I like this list.
Too bad you can't shoot at 4 different targets now.
Yeah. But I really like this list. For me, this wants to do one specific thing, and it does so really well.
It looks like
3 howitzers.
Yeah.
One of them sitting on a 9+ tank.
Yeah.
And then with the AA Crusader to protect your howitzers from Stuarts.
Yeah. It's gonna be. He's gonna do well.
He could do really well.
Yeah.
Grant, we really like this list.
We do.
Lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
Lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm doubtful of is whether or not the commandos are actually worth it. They're very expensive for what they bring, but
yeah. Well, it is a 7-man squad, so they can actually do some damage.
Yeah, they can. Right. So, and I'll just turn you off from this for just a sec, so you can just enjoy looking at us while I find Michael's list.
While he does that, I'm going to leave you. And I'm not going to talk about my own list, because I don't want to tell you my strategies.
Okay, I will tell you about his strategies.
No,
I need to find him for just a sec here, because someone sent the list to me. Not him, because he didn't want me to talk about it. Right. Okay, here we go. And there's Scottish list. Right. So, I will talk about Michael's list now. Right. This is it. This is what he's bringing. He brings a 17 order dice, 997 points. Again, those 3 points. And he brings a recce list. he's bringing SAS jeeps. Look at that. HMG and LMG forward facing, rear facing double LMGs as well. So that is a lot of shots that you can split fire. A lot of shots. And he brings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. Now these are going to be absolutely devastating towards enemy infantry. They're really going to be devastating. What, you want in on this as well?
No, I'm just listening to.
Right. They are going to be really devastating, and because you can split fire, that is going to be really, really difficult to handle. However, he only has the HMG to deal with all the Stuarts, which is going to be a problem. Then Gurkha sections, 1, 2, 7-man Gurkha sections, 3 7-man Gurkha sections, regular Gurkhas, so they're vulnerable to flamers, but they are good size. And he brings up an Adam. So not the Indians. He's bringing up an Adam because he wants them to move no matter what you get from the pins. I like that. It's not enough infantry sections, but it might be because the Gurkhas are really tough. Forward artillery observer, forward artillery observer. You've actually bought a forward artillery observer, so you have a plan. That's double artillery observers and a lot of Dhaka. Misa thinking that you're going to try and pin people out. Medium mortar, INEX, sniper team, regular, flamethrower team, regular, Piat team, regular, jeep. 1 jeep is regular, that's for the outflank, isn't it? And then a jeep that's inexperienced, that is going to sit in your back lines, be a threat, keeping people at bay from all your recce vehicles. And a QLT to transport everything in it. For me, this of course has obvious weaknesses. Everything is pinnable, everything is vulnerable to small arms fire, but there's a lot of recce here, and there's a lot of split fire going on, so this might have potential. I am looking forward to seeing whether or not you can actually do what you think you're going to do with this.
We are about to have a game with.
So we will actually find out in a minute. Right. That was it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us talk about the Scottish national lists. We hope you do well.
Thanks.
And enjoy the weekend. And everyone going.
See you over there, guys. Looking forward to Friday night. Or was it Saturday we were going out to eat, having a beer, having fun, kicking your asses. See you later.
Cheers.